Talofa lava and welcome back to Breaking Waves. On today's episode, I have two very special guests, Marshal and Italia, who are both running for local board coming up soon. Thank you guys so much for coming onto the show. Okay. We appreciate you being here with us to have this awesome talanoa. I'll start off with you, Marshal. Please introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself.
Thank you so much for having us. And this is the second time I have been here. It's always feel like a family kind of a thing. My name is Marshal. I came in 2010 as a student visa, and I've been staying in Manurewa for most probably 15 years. When I came in, my closest best friends at till stage were Samoans, and who actually taught me more understanding of being close to family. And this is something I learn every day from them. This year I'm standing again for local board elections from Manurewa. I think so that's my home, and it's time to give back to community. I stood last time as well and I was short by 600 votes, but I think so this time I'm quite positive, and with the support of my team I think so this time it would be a history created with first time a migrant coming from India has been selected on the local board elections.
Awesome. Beautiful. Italia, what about yourself?
Talofa lava everyone. My name is Italia Tipelu Masters. I'm a granddaughter. My nana and papa are the founders of Efakasa Manurewa, Angelica Road. I'm a proud daughter. I'm an auntie, but I'm also a wife to a Cook Island family, my master's side, and I have 5 beautiful children. Born and bred in Manurewa, love Manurewa. Grew up in Clendon, so yes, I've been in the rough streets, but if you can make it out of Clendon, you can make it anywhere.
Exactly.
So I love Manurewa, and it's time, like Marshall, agree, it's time to give back and time for us, to take that leap of faith. So thank you for having us today and for this awesome opportunity.
No, thank you. Thank you, guys. So what inspired you to step into running for local board?
I think the local board as a thing is the foundation where there's a lot of things happens. Which park needs to be upgraded, the resource allocation. Being in Manurewa for 15 years, I think so there's a lot of ways where people can get involved, and where people, our community is still learning, whether it is Pacifica, whether it's Indian, what you can get out of local board, what local board does. Is the message which a lot of people are not clear. Your rates, whether which park needs to gets upgraded, which park needs proper benches, what sports activities needs to happen. It all happens with local board, and I think so. For me, I think so. I always wanted to get our community to understand. You are paying rates, but there's something which local board needs to give it back to you guys as well. There's a lot of community issues which gets addressed by local board, which our community does not even know. Retail crime, there is some funding available for retail people, which can be utilized to overcome those barriers as well. Like you need folk cannons, you need bollards outside the shop. That's all comes through local board as well, which our retailers are getting used to it. But the thing is, if they don't see people which look similar to them, they feel
They can trust.
they can feel, they feel shattered as well, like whom to approach, whom to ask, because sometimes they always think somebody will say no, but it's not the no. You have to be consistently approaching them and getting it. That's the reason I'm standing for local board again, is to get people understanding and I always believe that the resource allocation needs to be divided equally, whether you are from Samoan, whether you are Indian, or whether you're Fiji Indian. It needs to be allocated with what Manurewa is, and Manurewa is diverse. We have around more than 100 cultures who are staying in Manurewa, and I think so. The recent stats clearly said the Pacifica is on number 1 at the moment, so they should be getting similar resource allocation as well when it comes to funding.
That's awesome. What about you, Talia? What inspired you to step up to running for local board?
So to be real, this wasn't even on the cards this year, because a lot's going on. I was the former general manager of the Netball Manurewa Community and Event Centre. So for the last 7 years, just been a part of an awesome board at that centre, and we're able to transform it with rubberised courts, a new canopy, just so we can make the courts more accessible, available. And then now it's a multi-purpose complex. And I think just being on the ground and seeing everything in real time, and also with the support of the Manurewa Local Board, the real decision makers around funding and upgrades, like Marshall mentioned, and all of those intricate topics that are in and around Manurewa, it was just really nice to be a part of Netball Manurewa Centre, where I could see it in real time, all the transformations and how we can empower and inspire our local community from all ages, from, the young kids to the youth to the elderly. And so for me, my grandparents, my late papas, actually gave me a encouraging challenge when I was representing Samoa in netball and rugby, travelling and whatnot. I'd come back and they'll be so proud, and then they'll be like, hey, we think that you have what it takes to maybe take it a step further and try local government, when they'll see all the different signs up in and around the community. And so I actually had it hidden inside as something that I could maybe consider. And so I've just been doing me in the community and being in and around all the different spaces. And so it's time.
Yeah.
It's time to take that leap of faith, and like Marshall, it's time for us to step up and try and get onto that table that makes all those important decisions, but more so that our people, Pasifika, Indian community, Māori, we can all see us and be like, hey, I'm just like them, and so that one day they too can dream or believe or stand up and be something for themselves as well. So this is also like an empowering moment, and all my life I've seen service through my grandparents and my parents and my family. The island families, there's a lot of events or there's a lot of church group gatherings and then just community in general. And so I do live by that alanga upu in Samoa for that proverb, which I also shared with our team. Ole ala I le pule o le tautua. And so the pathway to leadership is through service. And so this is our time, and it's time to take that leap of faith to serve and to reach and to influence our Manurewa community. Yeah.
Just going back to that, what are the most important issues that you feel are happening and that need to be addressed in Manurewa?
The biggest issue what is at the moment is, I'm not sure whether you guys are familiar or not, which would impact a big time, is your rubbish, which is, I'm talking about the general rubbish bin. Our opponents, which is standing besides us, I want to change it to fortnightly, which does not work for big families like us. And rubbish is the last thing which you should be worried about. We as a country have still not come out of recession. And, the thing which would be worrying about you, whether this rubbish, we need to put in this rubbish or what, I think so. And we as a team, led by Danny Newman, we want to assure our team that we want to stick it to weekly, and we will fight for it. I'm again recapping that it's the red rubbish bin I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the recycling. Imagine if it's changed to fortnightly, and if you have one missed, means your turn will come after a month. And how would you cope up with that? And don't forget, we are already spending $millions on dumping issue, which is in South Auckland. Every next street you see dumping. We could change it, but the thing is, it's the education. We need to teach. And I sit on Beautification Trust Board as well, and I'm the youngest board of trustee. And I always tell them it's the education which will lead us there. And we are not there at the moment. And there's a lot of steps which needs to come in. The second biggest issue in Manurewa is the roaming dogs. There's a lot of dogs. And there's a project going on at the moment.
I've seen so many TikToks of people and there's roaming dogs on roofs in the middle of the road. Yes, roaming dogs.
And I was door knocking yesterday as well for 2 hours. And I can show you the biggest two issues which people were telling me was, we don't want to go to fortnightly and we can go anywhere. We want to stick to weekly, and the roaming dogs. Manurewa Local Board, which is led by Matt Vinyata and Deputy Chair is Glenn Murphy. They are doing a trial for desexing dogs at Rata Wines. But we're still not there. I think so. We want to invest more money over there so that our people feel safe. It was interesting. A lady works for Hospice in botanical in Manurewa, and she said she want to go for a run, but she's quite confused whether she should go or not because of the roaming dog issue. So I think so that's two of the biggest issues. The third one is the park upgradation as well. We need more multicultural events happening in Manurewa where Samoans, we playing kilikiti, these guys are playing volleyball and stuff. We had this is the thing I need to tell in front of you guys. First time in history we had Riva Summer Games. Which happened 2 weeks before on Sunday, where Indians were playing kilikiti, these guys were playing volleyball and stuff. So these are the multicultural events we need to take place more in Manurewa, so we can learn from each other's culture, and that's close the barrier. So these are the three main points I stand for in these coming elections.
Manurewa needs to watch your dogs. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just being a Mangry hater. Born and raised in Mangry.
Oh,
What about you? What do you think are some issues that need to be addressed in Manurewa?
Well, Marshall, I think you took the top three, didn't you? So Marshall's amazing. Love your heart, love the hard work in the community. And yes, I'd like to echo that we should save the weekly rubbish collection in Manurewa. Mangry, there's a time and place for Mangry, but today is Manurewa's day. So yes, saving that weekly rubbish collection, agree with Marshall. I come from a big family, and so it is a saving grace to get our rubbish collected. And so illegal dumping is another flow-on effect, if it is a domino effect, from possible fortnightly. So we do advocate for weekly rubbish collection. And again, I do echo Marshall in terms of the animal management. We've been out door knocking, so we've heard it firsthand as well from all our locals. Is it safe to go for a walk? Is it not? And then what do we do? And so Daniel Newman, Matt Winiata, Glenn Murphy, Heather Andrew, and Rangi McLean, they're all part of the desexing pilot at the moment, where we are trying to encourage to raise the awareness for the dog owners as well. So they will get more information around that, because it was a random selection in that space too. And then yes, agree with the community spaces. We did host a Rewa Summer Games, which was really cool, because Marshall was able to bring in the Indian community, and then we had the Pasifika and also our Māori group as well. And it was a big fun day of interconnection, so we could all come together and play our sports. And the Indians actually made it to the semi-finals. So special shout out to the awesome group that came out as well, because my team was Loto Tamawhai, which means to always try your best, and so they gave us a really good run. But I also feel for us, Pasifika, community engagement is huge in terms of just raising awareness. Everyone is all in their spaces, so if we can all just come together and start networking and start with the consultations, if it's interest groups, or if it's at church spaces, or if it's in the sports groups. I think if there's a youth group, if there's senior groups, if there's businesses, collectively, if we all can just come together and raise that community engagement is important, because if we don't speak, if we don't share, and if we don't tell, then nothing comes. If you don't know, then nothing will come our way. And so I really believe we need to start engaging more, and whatever the barriers are, we need to know, so we can break those down and make it easier. Is it in your safe spaces that we need to maybe meet, or do we come together and hype it up like a Polyfest, Polyfest event, and then bring all these schools and groups together? But I also feel that just in general, our youth space, really want to highlight the importance of youth as well. So I am working closely with the Efakasa Manurewa youth group, and so we want to try and elevate their voices and amplify their voices, because they're our future. Then I think I'm also a mum of 5, so I'm trying to think ahead for my young ones as well, to try and just look up to their peers and to the next generation of leaders. And that's why with Marshall and myself and our team that we stand alongside, with Phyllis Latu, who's a powerhouse in the social services space, that's huge too. Then we've got Raywin Bana in our team as well. She's in that healthcare space with Te Whatu Ora, community clinic, and so Maranga Whānau Charitable Trust. We're all in this together, and I feel that collectively, you took the top 3, so I'll squeeze in mine too. But community engagement and youth, I feel for Pasifika to start speaking. Let's all stand up, and that together, today it's only the 2 of us, but we are a big team of 8, and we are trying to get out there. But there's more people out there that can do so much, and within yourselves, you're a leader. And that we can all speak, preach, but I think let's start coming together and let's engage, let's network, and let's start communicating on Manurewa Local Board, Pasifika, and even our Indian community and our Māori community. We're all here, so let's all work together. And I feel that's important for our Manurewa Local Board elections coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure you both know that Pasifika have one of the lowest voting rates, especially with local elections. I'll start with you, Marshall. What do you have to say to people who are skeptical of the effectiveness of local boards in creating real change? What do you have to say to them?
I think so. Let's be honest. There was a guy yesterday, and I need to give you real life example because I do a lot of door knocking as well.
You do.
There was a guy when I was doing a door knocking. He said, "Where are you from?" I said, I'm standing for local board election." And he said, "I don't vote. I've never been voting for 30 years." And I said, "Why? Why don't you vote?" He said, "Because there's no change." I said, "You need to be part of the change if you want to see a change." And he said, "What do you think about these speed humps everywhere?" I said, "I know the speed humps is a big problem, but if you don't raise your voice, nothing will happen. It's easy to sit at home and complain, but if you don't want to be part of the change, nothing happens." And he promised me that this is the first time he's going to vote. And he's not from our nationality, he's not from your guys' nationality, but he's a real New Zealander. So he's promised me that he's going to vote for the first time, and he took my number and he said, I'll contact you to see what change you can bring. It's not even Pacifica, same goes for Indian community as well. We tend not to vote because we don't see a difference. It's not even in even in local board, but it's even in general election as well, where people tend not to vote because they see, what's the difference? There won't be any difference. But I can promise you one thing, like if we get selected, we will promise you that there would be a change. And I always think that while you get selected for local board, you need to have KPIs. It's like working for a corporate company. Like I work for a corporate company, and you have to achieve those KPIs, because if you don't achieve those KPIs, unfortunately you don't have a job. And same goes for local board as well. You need to have your personal KPIs with community KPIs, and you need to achieve it. And after every 3 months or 6 months, you need to be front up with the community and tell them what you are trying to achieve, and take their consultation as well. Like, do you think it makes sense? Because you can't do it everything by yourself. But if we don't vote, and if we don't vote this time, I can tell you, like, there won't be any change, and your rubbish would might change it to fortnightly, which you don't want. So you need to vote for these local board elections, because your day-to-day life is impacted by local board elections. General elections, you get big policies, immigration policies, fuel tax policies and stuff. Local board is local issues. If your kids are going to that park and you think they need to have some more resources in that park, that comes through local board. If your street does not have lights, that comes through local board as well. But you need to vote, and you need to get people who got a vision and who want to make a change. That's why young people like me, Italia, and others are standing, because I think so there's a time for fresh ideas to come in local board as well.
Yep.
which actually describe what Manurewa is and where Manurewa is heading to.
What about you, Italia? What do you have to say to youth who are, skeptical that voting will even create change?
Yeah. I think, the first step is that community engagement, so that we can try and create like a platform or like a comfort space so they can come in and start speaking. Because I think there's too many barriers between age, thinking that age is that barrier to not be able to voice your opinions or voice your suggestions and just speak. And so I feel that if we can start with small interest group consultations, and even going out, if we need to come to your church youth groups, if we need to come out to your school leadership camps, if we need to come out to any community for youth, by youth initiatives, and I feel if they see that we're making the effort, then they in return will be able to reach out to us. So I feel if we can become approachable in their comfort zones, and that we can just encourage our youth that this is our time, not just for us, but it's for everyone, that no one misses out. And then I feel if we can try and empower the youth in their comfortable spaces, and then they will probably start to open up. But also with our team as well, we are working with some youth in this space as well, because we do believe that there is a space for them, and that youth development is also important in Manurewa amongst all the other heavy topics. And so we will come to you, you come to us, but we will make it happen. We know of many community spaces, and so we feel that this is a time for youth to stand up, and that we will be there right alongside you. And we won't demand, or we won't bark orders, but we will talk, we'll conversate, we'll have discussions, because it's very important to give the youth a voice at the table as well. And so I think growing up in the Samoan churches, in the FAKSA space, you do White Sunday, and that gives you a time to just they call it a tauloto, and that's your verse from the Bible, but that's your moment to speak and to be confident. And so I think when you're in church and you have all these life skills imparted in you to become a future leader, we can also be part of that space. We can attend your White Sundays, and we can be in your youth group sessions. And so that's just me talking from a personal experience. Being part of White Sunday, it's helped me today step in and be part of this talanoa. So I feel that for us, that as members, that we are standing up, not just for ourselves, but we have a village. We have giants that have gone before us or who are still with us. And I think collectively, again, we're all in this together. So it's time for all of us to take that leap of faith, and let's just start talking. Let's bring in those awesome ideas. And you're right, Marshall, it's time for us to work together as well, for the multi-cultures as well, because Manurewa is diverse, and that's the beauty of Manurewa. So Marshall's here today, I'm here today, and we are the faces to show that this is us, this is Manurewa.
And also, I think so it plays a crucial role as well. Before you cast your vote or before you think, just check people's profile as well and what they have done in multicultural space.
Yes.
I'm not here to represent my Indian community. I'm here to represent New Zealand because we are a New Zealander first and now Indian second. So I always say that because it's time, as Italia said, is to think about the wider picture, what community actually wants, and then get together on a table, get community leaders and see whether it makes sense or not. It's always good when you see council spending millions of dollars on 5 stairs and stuff, but does it affect our community? No. What our community needs and how we can address is what we stand for, and that's why we are here today. Is come through those channels, which plays a crucial role. I'm not sure how many people watch your TikToks and your channel. Is to get through those medium, is to get people aware why to vote for local board, why is it important, why is to raise their voice, and these are the things which me and Italia are always promoting in all the ethnic media, is to get them to vote. So when the voting percentage comes, we don't see this is how much Indian people have voted percentage, Pacifica, and we always get pointed out, these are the low voters. Why would we care about them? Because these guys don't even vote. These guys don't care. But I think so it's time changing, as Italia said, when we door knock, a lot of people are understanding what local board does, and I think so as time progresses, a lot of people will cast the vote. And don't forget, this is the postal vote. This is not where you have to go to school and vote. This is where you get 2 or 3 weeks where you have to put it in envelope and drop it. And I think so it would be good to have some churches to drop off as well. Like in Sikh temple in Takanini, where you can drop it off every Sunday. And I think so it's a good question to raise when the electoral commission comes in, is to have a dedicated churches as well, where people can easily come and drop it on Sunday, because that's where a lot of people goes there.
I think the importance of voting, so that's the outcome, but I think the journey is important. So for Marshal and I, we didn't just stand up today and say, let's be board members. I feel that as humans, that we have done a lot in the community spaces. So Marshal and that Beautification Trust, I feel people should look it up, because it's such a beautiful and empowering and impactful trust that offers all the recycling advice, and they also plant the trees for our future. And I know that they also have a shop, right, that has discounted recycled goods, and there's a bike hub as well that the Beautification Trust has put up at the Netball Manurewa Centre. But I feel that we have done the work, we have done groundwork, we have served, we have been in the community, we've been with all the multicultural communities as well. And I feel that leading up to the vote, that's the outcome. But I feel if we can just encourage our people to just entrust in us, that we are already doing the work and that we are community people. And so we are not going to come and demand, to vote for us, but we are saying, we're with you. We are just ordinary community people of 2 hands, 2 legs, that we are out there pouring our hearts into the community and all these local issues. So let's save that weekly rubbish collection. Let's try and put together some desexing pilots so we can try and manage or control the animal management plan. Let's get out there and try and engage with our youth and our elderly, but also our Pasifika community and also our Indian community, Māori. I just keep highlighting multi because I feel this is who Manurewa is today, alongside our European brothers and sisters. And I feel, just collectively, that's why it's important to vote, because us community people, we can only do so much, you know, and from the table that makes the important decisions around funding and resources, what should get upgraded, where should the money go, we can only speak on what we know and hear, but there are also many community champions in their own spaces, in churches, at the Sikh temples, in schools, you know, in youth groups, that also have great ideas. So I feel that creating that engagement or that comfort zone where we can come together and start listening and hearing, we are the people that we will listen, and that we will be able to be that beacon of hope, or, you know, be that light and salt that Manurewa needs. But I feel that it's our time now to stand up. Let's not just talk it. We're now here to walk the talk and say, come with us, join us, and we're all in this together. Yeah.
This is a bit of a more personal question.
Okay. Take it easy on us.
Yeah. What makes you different from every other candidate running right now?
This is a very good question. I think so. Being in Manurewa for 15 years, and you know, little bit background as well. Like the difference between me and other candidates, I'm not comparing my team with me, because if they have selected in our team, it means they are different. I'm talking about other opponents. If our people in local board would have done what we need, I think so I would have not been standing again. I think so there's a time for a change. There is time for a fresh ideas. And as I said, lot of things which hasn't been done in past, which needs to be done. There's a lot of people who sits in the local board who hasn't achieved a single thing, who hasn't been to any Indian events, who hasn't been to any Pacific events, but they have got paid $60,000 every year into their accounts. So for me, money comes secondly. My job is to give back to the community, and I got vision, I got goals which I want to put it in, which you will see closely on during the election time, is what I want to achieve. And there would be clear deadlines as well, because I always stick to deadlines, because if you don't have a deadline, you won't achieve anything. And I'm the one of the person who has cleaned all the streets from Otahu to Papakura, and I've got all the community hero awards from all the local boards. So there is something in me which people sees and come to me and approach, whether it is from Indian, whether it's for Pacifica people as well. I help them to get. I've got around 500 people in jobs, irrespective of Indian community, Pacifica people in and around Manurewa. So there is something in me which people sees, and I think so. As Italia said, is we got goals and we got vision, and we want to have clear deadlines. And as I said on other radios as well, you come once the elections are over, I want to slot in some timings after every 3 months, and you come and ask us what you have achieved in 3 months, because people don't come and approach local boards. Now is the election year, you will see everybody on the road campaigning and stuff, but ask them for last 2.5 years what they have achieved in the community. It's a humble request. When anyone else come to your radio, please ask them this question.
So what he told me, Marshal told me.
In last 2.5 years, if I want to tell you, without even winning the elections, I can tell you what I've achieved. There was no crossing outside Manurewa Sikh temple. So there's around 5,000 people go there on a weekly basis. Irrespective of what caste, color, religion you come from, you get a free meal. During the time of COVID, we had 6 million food parcels distributed around New Zealand. But outside that Sikh temple, there was no crossing. So we have elderly coming in, and those were not used to New Zealand law. So they could not even walk because there's so much traffic. So we got those crossing done after 3 years fighting. There was no benches at Match Road. People used to come and get their kids to do, take rides and stuff. But the elderly needs to sit. There was no benches. So we got those benches. There's the first indoor cricket stadium, cricket stadium in Manurewa, Jellicoe Park, which were, who would have thought, like people now come and practice in off season as well, where people can come and play cricket even if it's raining, because it's indoor and you got everything. On top of that, we are working closely with the retail team to crack down on the crime. So I'm a spokesperson for all the Auckland Indian Retailers Association as well. So I work closely with whatever government is to implement those ideas to how we can get retailers feel safe while they're working at the shops. So even after not winning those elections, I've achieved these 4 things. So when other people come in and sit with you, please ask them, elected local board members, I'm not talking about non-elected like me, elected members, ask them for last 2.5 years, they got paid $60,000 every year, which equates to $180,000 for 3 years, what they have achieved for $180,000. Please ask them, and if they have an answer, let me know.
Okay.
They won't even have answers because
Well, I have to invite them on now.
you have to invite them and ask them because it's very important question because it's a
Be
taxpayer.
accountable.
Yeah, you need to be accountable and it's a taxpayable money. It's not money for free. You get paid every fortnightly. It comes to your account and you feel very happy. But what about the people who are actually paying you? What have you done for that community? Is an important question which needs to be asked at every radio and which needs to be asked to me as well if I get elected this time in September.
That's true.
Absolutely. Love the accountability. That's the one.
Yeah.
What about you, Talia? What makes you different from everyone else?
For me, what makes me different is to have the heart to serve. And it's to serve with a purpose and to serve to be content and to serve to make a difference. I feel that leading up to elections, I've been part of some amazing trusts, so ASA Foundation, trust that I've been a part of. We were the ones that ran that Super Saturday vaccination at the Nepal Manurewa Centre, and we were also part of the Pacifica Market. It was a setup. It wasn't a handout. It was more like a hand up to all the different families that were struggling through during COVID, and they can come together and sell their goods at the Pacifica Market. So like a mini social enterprise opportunity to empower all these families. And through ASA Foundation, we're able to inspire and empower all these different Pacifica Market holders to come through and find their way, because cost of living is through the roof. And during that time, we're able to help them to carry on, and keep making your living the way that you know. And we're able to do food parcel initiatives as well for the food security. So that was just in itself a project that was for the people and purely to serve. And so I'm very proud to be part of the ASA Foundation Trust. And then with the Maranga Whānau Charitable Trust, I've been in the spaces where I've seen firsthand social services wraparound. And Phyllis Latu, who champions that space, she took me along to a home visit for a health and wellbeing high order visit. And so I was able to sit there and understand full scope what it takes to help people who needs that help and support. And so we did visit a mother who had 4 kids and just lost her husband. And so we were there to try and offer some wraparound health and wellbeing support. And so in amongst all that is just being open-minded to go out there and help and serve and to have that heart, that no judgment, that we are here to help and support you. And so I'm also part of the Manurewa Community Network. And so we are a branch of the Manurewa Local Board, where in the weekend we just hosted our Manurewa signature event, Tō Tātou o Manurewa. And we had our info service providers, all the different organisations in Manurewa coming through, setting up their stores and giving out their brochures or their help and how they can further support our community. We had different food vendors. We had the Four Fathers as the band. We had a beautiful MC, Brian Sangala. Special shout out to him. He was amazing. And then we had food vendors so they can, make a living for themselves as well. We had our car boot team there as well, another mini market so they can make a living. And so we had a diversity program. We had a group from Finlayson Park School, Kiribati kids, who just performed their hearts out. We had Le Aute, Manurewa Dance Academy come through. We had a Cook Island group. We had a ropu for Kapahaka. And we even had some Chinese opera singers. We had an Indian dancer. So cool. It was just diverse. It was beautiful. And so that was another group that I was a part of. And I'm also linked to Moving Manurewa. And this group offers free sports to our community, to our kids, to our rangatahi, to our whānau, to our families, to our ainga. They can come through on Fridays at the Nepal Manurewa Centre and they can come and just play sports. No fees, nothing attached. You just come as you are and you just enjoy. And so all these different groups that I'm already linked to, I feel I've won because in my heart, I'm content. And so through serving with the heart that is just full and open, I know that my nana and papa are looking at me, my 2 papas, my who are my heart and soul, who are now looking down over me as my guardian angels, that I'm now their legacy. That I will say that I will continue to be your hands and feet, and I'll be that vessel to continue to serve because oleala,
Ole tautua.
and so I feel that
collectively, everyone has their strengths on the board, but I do back Marshall 110%. I gave you extra 10%, buddy. But I do feel that he's also served. Yes, he's collected rubbish. He's out there planting trees. He's out there helping recycling. He's out there being the environmental champion and community hero. And so I feel that, also doing the education to employment opportunities, you've helped so many people. And so that's why I feel we've done our due diligence in the community spaces, and we are just ordinary community people now just taking a stand to say, let's take all our voices further and let us be that person. If people vote, that we will be your ears, will be your eyes, but more importantly, we'll be your voice. And so here we are, just ordinary community people out there doing extraordinary things. And so we feel it's our time. And so come with us on this journey, and let's all do this together.
That's so beautiful. I love how you're so invested into the journey of it.
Journey.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much for coming on to Breaking Waves and sharing with us. Now I have to go ask the current local board members to come onto the show and ask them, you've done nothing.
No.
I'm kidding.
What my thing is,
Kidding, guys.
what my thing is to ask them what they have achieved for last
3 years, yeah.
And ask them and let me know what they have achieved.
Yes.
So it would be good to know because when we go and ask our community people, they said we haven't seen them. So it's important to know that what they have achieved. So
In the Pacifica spaces?
Pacifica space, Indian space,
Indian spaces,
name it. It's well and good to come to those worship places, ask them people to vote for elections, but it's religious places, and where you are accountable to the people, but you're accountable to the holy books, whether it's Sikh gurus or whether it's Jesus and stuff. You are accountable to them. So you can lie to anyone, but you can't lie in front of those holy places. So.
But our current members from the Manurewa Action Team and that local board, they've been heroes and champions in their spaces. With Matt Winiata chairing it, and Glenn Murphy
and Rangi and
as
Heather.
deputy, and then Rangi and Heather in our team as well.
Yeah, and Auntie Ann Candy, who retired a couple of months before. So those guys have done a lot in their spaces. So there's other people who are there as well. So as we said, this team of 8 standing again this time as well under the banner of Manurewa Action Team, which is local people who resides in Manurewa, and some people have been staying in Manurewa for whole life. Like Glenn, he yesterday told me his family came in 1944.
Oh wow!
We were not even born. And Heather has been there for more than 40 years. We got young people, but we got people with other experiences as well. We got lights like Glenn, Heather. Rangi McLean, who's the Matua, who has opened half of the Indian shops in with the blessings. We got Italia, so we got Phyllis, we got Raven, myself. So we got a team which actually, justify what Manurewa is at the moment, with different nationalities all around. And we got another candidate as well, which would be disclosed soon, which is a real hero as well. He or she is a real hero for Manurewa as well. So once again, as a sister, she helped us before as well. One message she said, you guys can come in. This is what friendship is, and this is what I love about Bluwave as well. Like, you can rely on them, and they don't say no irrespective of what nationality I come from. They always there. They always there to support us, which is why I love them, and which is why I've always been supportive for them. Thank you so much once again for having us, and we look forward to some more interviews before the elections as well.
Keep Marshal accountable.
I will be keeping both of you guys accountable. No, I'm kidding. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for coming onto the show. I wish you the best with your campaigning, and I pray that God protects you both throughout this journey. It's not going to be an easy one.
No.
Tell us how people can get involved.
So if you are not registered, first thing is to get registered, because these are postal votes. So you can go to www.vote.nz. It only takes less than a minute to get yourself registered. You just need a driving license or a New Zealand passport.
Yeah, driver's license or New Zealand passport for ID.
And then what happens is from 9th September to 22nd of September, you get voting papers coming to your home. What you do is in Manurewa itself, we're going to justify what Manurewa Local Board elections are. So you get get 2 votes for councillor. So you select 2 councillors. Then you got 8 people to select from Manurewa Local Board, and then you got 1 mayor. Whosoever you want to select for mayor, it's up to your guys' choice. And then if you're deciding right hand side from the motorway, which is like Great South Road, Manurewa, Clinton, Weymouth, Wattle Downs, you can vote for another election which is called Very Licensing Trust. So you got 6 people to select from there. From 9th September to 22nd September, you should all receive your ballot papers at your home. If you haven't received it, you can still cast your vote, which is called special votes. You can go. They still haven't decided where their special votes will be, but you have 11th October deadline to cast your votes.
Yeah.
So on 11th October, you get preliminary results of what from
The
those ballot
results look
papers,
like,
and the final results comes out on 15th October, which will include all the votes.
Yeah.
Once again, I want to reiterate this message that these are postal votes.
Right.
This is not where you need to go to schools and cast your vote. The voting paper comes to your home.
Yeah.
You select 8 people for Manurewa Local Board. You select 2 councillors, and you select 1 mayor.
Yeah.
And I want to reiterate, me and Italia are standing for Manurewa Action Team, and we humbly request you to vote for the whole team, not just for selected candidates, but select for the whole team, because when you have a strong team sitting on the table, then those decisions are taken jointly in conjunction in what community wants.
Yeah.
So we want to request, please get yourself registered. We have a lot of tendency, we move houses. So if you move your house in recently, you just need to take out 1 minute from your busy schedule, go to www.vote.nz and get yourself registered. Even if you still have issues, you can contact us through our phone numbers or through our social media, and we would be able to help you guys, because it's an easy process and we can help you by phone as well.
Yeah. So yeah, just to echo what Marshal was saying, is the voting paper can look confusing and it can look quite like intense. And so as a team, that's how we are going out there to our community, is that individually we are so strong in the community and in what we believe, but collectively as a team, we're a powerhouse. And so I feel that, yes, I agree with you, is as a team around that same table, that we can amplify voices and that we can be that change that we all need in our Manurewa. And so if we are selecting on the ballot paper, our Manurewa Action Team stands together, and that we will be out there together, we're door knocking together, we're at events together, and that we believe, I will be cheesy, but I'll say teamwork makes the dream work.
That's the one.
Yeah.
It's good to be cheesy.
So Manurewa Action Team.
Manurewa Action Team. Thank you so much. If you guys haven't, there'll be more details on this description below on how. Have you guys got like information packages where people can flyers or do you guys have an online flyer?
We can send it through to you.
With
Yeah.
our Facebook
But
page.
we got a Facebook page called Manurewa Action Team. where
Okay.
everything
All
would-
the updates,
All the updates would be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Facebook, Manurewa Action Team. Go and like and follow.
Yes.
But thank you so much, Italia and Marshall, for coming on the show. I appreciate you guys' time so much.
Yeah.
And all the best with your campaign.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Perfect, I love it.
Yeah. Thank you so much.